plus my mom and my pops. I came to get down, I came to get down. So get out your seat and jump around. Jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around, jump up and get down.
Today on the Dodger, we're joined by Darius Feaster, a former Wisconsin Badger defensive back whose story goes far beyond the field, from the lessons learned competing at the highest level of college football to the ways he's carried that mindset to life after sports. Thanks for coming on, Darius.
Thank you for having me, Dodger.
Yeah.
It's great to be here, man. Thank you.
So, from Mequon, went to Homestead. Can you talk a little bit about your upbringing, your early childhood, what that looked like in Mequon?
Yeah, sure. So I was a student at Homestead High School, which is located in Mequon, Wisconsin. It's a very nice community, very suburban. One of those schools that's just, I think, dominant within the state at most things, especially from a athletic perspective. You know, we were always good at basketball, football, track, soccer, all those things, right? So definitely held to a high standard there. And specifically for me, within the football and track world, went to state and did all those things. And yeah, man, it was good. Got to get a lot of exposure if you go to Homestead. That means you get a chance to, if you just play decent, that means you'll have a look from a college, any college not of your choice, but there'll be quite a few colleges that'll reach out to universities that will want you to play. So, yeah,
I did. I always try to do as much research as I can prior to these, and a great source for that is podcasts. So I'm going to reference some news articles but the most recent podcast you're on was a couple of years ago. Believe in Badgers. And you talk, so I'm going to reference that a couple times here, ask you to expand a little bit on and some of the stuff you talked about there. But you talked about having a sister that went to UW. Now, is that your only sibling?
No, I have two sisters. So I'm the middle child, which is it's a great thing. I'm the only boy. I'm the only boy and the middle child. So people are like, "Oh my God, you're so spoiled." It's like, I don't know about all that, but yeah, nah. I do have an older sister who's still in Milwaukee, and she's thriving in the community there. She's a CEO of a professional women's organization that's based in Milwaukee, and I have a younger sister as well. We all went through the Homestead, the Homestead, I guess, school district, and it was good. Yeah, she's killing it. She's down in Miami right now. She's a physician at University of Miami Hospital. So yeah, everybody's doing well in the Feaster household. So
did they all play sports as well?
Yes, they all played sports. I think that my younger sister was probably I think she was the most athletically gifted, but I don't think she didn't really care for sports much. Whereas I think my older sister, I think she's very competitive and just, I wouldn't say she's the worst. Like she's still, yeah, she's still extremely athletic. Yeah, no. And then there's me. I'm the one that I put a little bit of effort in and also had a little bit of athletic skill. But yeah, we all played sports. Football was my thing, and my sisters, they played basketball and volleyball and track and all types of stuff. So yeah, that was me.
So your older sister's basically like, what's her name, Cheryl Miller to Reggie Miller?
She could beat me. I'd say all the way up until probably high school when I started, I guess, outgrow her. But she was nice. She was good at basketball. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, I don't know about the Cheryl Miller's a little aggressive. They're coming home bragging on how many points they had. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but yeah.
So what age did you first start playing sports at?
I started playing sports, probably, wow, like maybe, I guess like 6 or 7. I don't really remember back then. I'd have to check the home videos. Probably 6 or 7 or 8. I don't know. Some, parents throw you in the soccer league, and just gotta let you kick the ball around and see what you like. But yeah, they threw me in everything, which was Um, it's nice because now I'm kind of like revisiting all these sports that I learned as a kid. Whether it's like tennis or golf and basketball. I play everything now. Now, like now it's just I'm coordinated enough where I know that I can play and compete in pretty much anything. And I think I definitely give my parents the credit for throwing me and everything. But yeah, it's probably when I started. It was like 7 or 8 or something. So.
Once you got to high school, was it just predominantly football and track?
Well, actually, yeah, it was. I was my first love is basketball. I love playing basketball, but I don't know what happened. I guess like I got into it with the coaches, in high school, and yeah, I don't understand. I was probably one of the better basketball. I was probably one of the better basketball players, I think, in my district in sixth, seventh, eighth grade, and then in high school, just the coaches they're trying to get us to run this motion offense and all that kind of stuff, and I wasn't feeling none of that. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm not playing basketball then, which was cool with me because I just switched over and played, and they put me in like powerlifting, which didn't really love that either, but I did well at it. But then it just gave me more time to work in on track and football. So yeah, basketball is still my first love though, and but yeah, unfortunately, wasn't able to play that much, and I still played in high school, but eventually I just stopped. So yeah.
For everyone listening, this has to be at like 90% that football guys love their first love is basketball. I swear.
Of
I
course.
swear, every football guy, like, first love basketball.
It has to be, man. It's another team game. It's yeah. It's another game that you can actually like prove your athleticism. I think
Yeah,
like you know soccer as well. Like that's pretty cool, or football, whatever you want to call it. I think it's cool because you can run. You can actually run around as an advantage of being fast and strong. And I think basketball is one of those. But you also have to have some type of finesse, right? So I
yeah,
think that's the thing that I think I loved about basketball.
yeah.
So.
Well, and basketball is not as many people, like soccer
Right.
or football, where you could take over a game if you're good enough. Like,
That is correct. You can definitely dominate a game if you're a really good basketball player. You can go out there and dominate and just not pass the ball, which is what I got in trouble for a lot as well. But it is what it
so
is. I don't know.
So, uh, I digress here. You're pretty good in track and football, especially triple jump. You're fourth all time for longest jump at Homestead, and your senior year you got 10th at state. Did you do any other events besides triple jump when you were in high school?
Well, I don't know what happened at state. I know I got rocked at state. Something happened at state where I got tennis. And I don't remember what it was, but that's not a good representation. But
You made it to state. I never made it to state, so you're doing
yeah, I
something.
mean, I just started off the whole Wisconsin thing. We'll make it there, but we ain't. When it gets to the big game, we all fold. So I don't know. It's the beginning of a theme for me. But yeah, no, we made up. Yeah, ran track there. That was good. I think track was track was cool. It was just I think it was something that was more of like an ancillary type of sport that would just prepare us for football. I don't think
Yeah,
it was like anything that was. I wasn't trying to be a professional track athlete or anything like that.
right.
But yeah, I mean, it was a good time. What was your original question though? What were you
Did
talking
you do
about?
any other events?
I ran like the 4x1. I'd run I did the 100 every now and again. I wasn't the fastest at the school at all. There's a guy named Ian he was the fastest guy in my class. But yeah, I ran the 100. I'd pick up some points. I was like a team like a team guy, right?
Yeah,
I do high jump if they needed me to place. It's like, okay, well, I need you to do high jump. I need you to do 100. I need you to run the 200 today. And it's like, okay, at least I know we can. I know he won't be the best. He won't win, but he can get. I could pull like a third or a fourth off pretty easily. Sometimes second. So
yeah.
yeah, one of those guys.
Uh, well, with going to state, were you getting any college looks for track and field?
Not for track and field. Not placing 10th. You're not doing that. In the state of Wisconsin, nah, that's not gonna work. Maybe in like Texas or something like that, you could probably get a look.
Sure, sure.
But no, I primarily was I actually wasn't really interested in playing college sports at all. I was very academically focused. I think you could ask anyone. I was more so this. I put the student in athlete. That was the always the priority for me because, quite frankly, I think it's it's more calculated. It's a little bit smarter of a route. It's not to knock any guys that made it to the professional level or anything like that, but I think you're able to last a little bit longer in the business world and I don't know, use your brain, to take you further places than just your body. So, yeah, I was definitely more of an academics type of guy. So, yeah,
You talked a little bit about it, but I I mean, when I went through high school, it's kind of the same way. I didn't really like track and field, but I just did it because it kept you in shape for my other two sports. was
correct,
there
correct.
was there like anything that training for track and field you think really helped you in playing football as well?
Um, I think, yeah, I think just endurance and pushing yourself to do things that are uncomfortable. Right? I mean, nobody likes running. I mean, I don't know how much. Yeah, if you ran the 400 or anything like that, that's a brutal race, right?
300 hurdles.
Okay, even worse, right? So like the 300 hurdles and 400-meter dash, like those things are tough. And it's obviously you're physically you're trying to push yourself, but the mind controls everything, right? So mentally trying to actually get yourself to the finish line in those last 100-meter, you know that the last 100 is the hardest, right?
Yeah.
So I think just being able to like mentally push through that kind of taught me like doing things that are uncomfortable. It taught me how to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. So yeah, that's that.
So I'm gonna take it a kind of weird way here, but
Okay,
you didn't formally play in high school, but you were a caddy in high school.
correct.
Uh, so the Believe podcast you said was just a job for money and kind of boring.
Mhm.
But like in between rounds or waiting for your party to show up, did you ever like practice on your own, like or like go to a driving range, work on putts, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, as a caddy, you get time to just hang around the little clubhouse and do that kind of stuff. And yeah, I swung the club, and I'd go on Mondays in country clubs. I guess that's the day that they do all the like maintenance and rehab for the course. And I'd go out there and like hit a couple times, but it wasn't like I don't know. It wasn't really priority to play. I didn't really care to play. I'd rather play anything else other than golf, quite frankly. But like, yeah. But as you caddy though, you learn the lingo. You learn how to, the etiquette, like just the flow of the game, club selection, how like all the little like minutia of the game itself. You learn how it's played, how it's strategically played, and um, I'd end up like watching golf on TV to try to see how I can be like better and how that could be better, like I don't know, a better asset to the players. But mostly like I was just there to carry the bag and get paid. So
Yeah.
I mean, hey, $40-$50 in high school. I mean, that's yeah, the early 2000s.
Yeah.
That's good money. I mean,
Right.
nowadays I don't know, but that was good money for me. So I was using that, and I could buy video games. I could I don't know, buy food, all that stuff. So yeah,
He'd rather play any other sport, but we'll get back to that. That's a little foreshadowing, I guess, for another topic I'm gonna bring up here.
right.
But so back to high school sports. So did you play both sides of the ball in high school in football?
Actually, I started off as a wide receiver, and I got hit a couple times, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if this is for me. So taking a couple hits, that'll humble you. Yeah, as a freshman, I was a receiver, and I just was not. Yeah, nah. I don't like being hit. That's not like that was not the. I still don't even know how these guys do it in college or the pros. Like just taking hit, I can't do it. So I was like, okay, well, if I can just reverse that and be the one that's actually making the tackles, like I could do that.
Right.
Because at least like I went across, you go across the middle as a receiver and you're extending your body for a catch, and then you have no idea, who's gonna hit you, how hard they're gonna hit you, where they're gonna, yeah, like, nah, I'm good on all that. I'd rather be the one delivering the blow. So nah, I'm good.
I know. So I know you talked about not having a ton of interest in playing football initially,
Mhm.
past high school. Do you think that was a product of feeling like maybe you accomplished everything you wanted to with football at that period of time? Because you'd won a state championship, like
Mhm.
that all-star game you had two interceptions and the game-winning pick six from what I was reading.
Mhm.
So like at that point were you like, I've done all I need to do with football, so I'm
Feel
good.
like, yeah, I felt like I was done. Like, it's all right. Well, not really much else to do in the football world. I played high school football and we were successful. And yeah, yeah, I did feel like that. And I think when after I finished that All Star game, I think just part of me was like, kind of like, I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'm like, these guys at the college level can't be like that much. If all these guys that I'm playing with in the All Star game are going to play college football and they're going to these D1 universities to do this and do that, I'm like, maybe I actually can do this. So yeah, that kind of woke me up a little bit, and I was like, I can play with these guys. So yeah, that's how I got interest and opportunity. I did have like college interest at smaller schools to go play, but like I said at the time, I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna go respectfully to anybody. I'm not gonna go to Michigan Tech or
Yeah.
Whitewater, respect Whitewater, all that stuff. Shout out to Whitewater, y'all great. But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go in the middle of nowhere. Like, I'd rather just enjoy my college experience. And yeah, I'd rather if it's not a big stage, I'm not really trying to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you talked a little bit about you got an academic scholarship to Wisconsin, so obviously super smart. Um, Unlike football, do you go into the academic side knowing exactly what you wanted to major in and ultimately the degree you wanted to graduate with?
I had no idea. I knew that I wanted to be something business related, just because that's kind of how my mind works. But quite honestly, no, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do finance or marketing or accounting or any of those types of things. I think you kind of figure that out along the way, right? In the beginning of when you first get to college, you take all these like kind of sampler courses and you kind of figure out what you want, right? So for me, it's like, okay, well, if I'm almost falling asleep in accounting and finance, like maybe that's not the choice for me, right? So, whereas like marketing and international business and those types of things, those were a little bit more interesting to me. Even econ and I like those things. So I was like, okay, well, I can kind of double down here and know that that's what I want. So that's when you kind of choose your major. At least at Wisconsin, that's how it works. But yeah, that's how it went.
Can you tell the story about choosing to actually play at Wisconsin and what that looked like? Because it sounds like it was kind of a last second decision when you got the itch to play again.
It was extremely last minute. Yeah, like if I can recall correctly, I I don't even know how. I think my coach in high school, he was very well connected and like he knew like people at the Wisconsin program and stuff like that, and he had like he made me a tape and all that kind of stuff, and I'm pretty sure he gave me like he's like my tape. I wasn't a stranger. People knew who I was. I just didn't. I had no interest really in playing.
Yeah.
So when I did finally tell him like, hey, I think I am interested in playing, I think he made a last minute call to the program. Was like, hey, like there's a guy up there. He might want to come out and play. And I think I went in. They called me in, and I think they just threw me like I'm pretty sure they just threw me some pads and threw me in some practices and I fit in and they threw me in the weight room and they're like, oh shoot, like this guy's for real. And they just next thing you know, I got a locker and I'm on the team. I don't know. I really don't remember exactly how that process went, but it wasn't much of a like it wasn't a Rudy story or like anything where I'm
It sounds
like
very nonchalant
it
compared to
was
like.
it was not. I think it was nonchalant because like I fit in. It wasn't like a stretch for me to not, like for me to be there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can't really remember all the details. I just know that like I fit in and I just started playing there. So that was that. Lucky.
What were some of the toughest transitions for you both academically and competitively on the field?
I think it's more so the balance between those two. Um, Wisconsin is not a, respectfully to other schools, right? It is not an easy academic, like, there's not an easy academic curriculum there. And I think maybe sometimes, like, in rumors and like pop culture, there's always like a tutor that does your homework for you if you're a player and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't doing that at Wisconsin. like, not from what I know. They weren't
Yeah.
doing all that. So, um, you know, and I like I said, I went there with the intent of studying and being a good student. So a lot of um, I just took a fairly normal, probably a little more, kind of an aggressive course load, more than the average student. Right? I think I had like I think the average student takes like 15 credits or something like
Yeah.
that. I had like 23 credits, right? So I
Holy
was really
buckets.
going in. Um, and I say all that to say that there was kind of a culture shock when I realized like, oh, okay, Wisconsin is actually this school, this academically, this is tough,
Yeah.
right? And then to find the time to actually go to practice and do all those things, time management became an issue for a little bit. So, um, for a little bit, I had to really buckle down. I didn't want to lose my scholarship. That would have been
Did
all bad.
did
Yeah,
you feel it was tough giving 100% in both things?
yeah, and I think it is giving 100% in both of those things is tough because that will leave you with no like social life,
Right.
right? And uh, I think half the reason people go to whether parents pay for that or not or think about their kid doing that, half the reason you go to college is to learn how to be social, right?
Yep.
Socialize and networking. That's what college is really about. Um, and it's hard to manage and balance all three of those things: athletics, you know, being a student, and then also just having actual social life and being the socialite that I am. Like, it's a hard balance, right?
Yeah.
So, um, I think that like looking back, yeah, like I could have done a few things differently. I probably should have taken less classes, but I don't regret it because it actually, it taught me how to actually study, taught me more and more discipline, which is, I'd say, is probably one of my greatest strengths to this day. So, yeah.
You said when you first got to Wisconsin and on the team, you gravitated towards some of the more tenured players like Nick Toon. Were there any juniors and seniors when you got there that kind of helped you navigate some of those tougher transitions that high schoolers face when they first start in college?
Um, Specifically, I would say, yeah, Nick. I was really close with Nick. Comer St. Jean. I don't know if you remember him at all. I mean, he was a stud. But yeah, yeah, Louis Ezegu. Like, there's a lot of like the older guys that I got along with. I got along with everybody. I think I was one of those
Lewis is a
guys that just
hometown boy
Louis
from
is. It was
Platteville.
so. Oh, really? From Platteville? Okay, okay. We love Platteville. That's what is it? Blue and orange? Yeah, blue and
Yeah,
orange.
great day
Platteville.
to be a
Okay.
pioneer, baby.
Pioneers. Wow. Yeah. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you where Platteville is on the map if I tried. And I'm from Wisconsin. That's crazy. But no, I'd say like just in general, a lot of the older guys were like they they did a really good job of just like showing what brotherhood is and teaching me how to navigate the school. Lance Kendricks was another guy that I
Yeah,
was really
yeah.
close with. To this day, I'm very close to them. I'd say yeah, between Lance and Nick and Comer and Lewis, like, and I'm probably forgetting some guys. That was so long ago, but they definitely took me under their wing. Like, I remember Lance sold me his scooter. Like, that was a big deal for me because I was walking. Like when you're walking on campus, from from the dorms to the stadium, that is not a comfortable walk, especially when
Right.
it's cold and freezing. So yeah, Lance took me under his wing. Lance also was very strong academically as well. He went to Rufus King, and that's a good, very good academically strong high school. But Lance and then Nick was me and Nick just got along. We clicked right away. I'll never forget, like, here I am as a freshman, and Nick is like I want to say he's a junior, or I don't know, he's like 3 or 4 years ahead of me. And he calls me one day and is like, hey, like, um, you know, I think Russell and his wife are gonna come visit. Or Russell and his fiance at the time are gonna come visit, and they want me to, show him around and hang out with them, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna invite him to my house. Like, do you want to come over and kick it? I was like, sure, I guess. Sorry about the volume.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, he invited me over there, and like he's like, yeah, I always go to his house and hang out. And yeah, I remember it was me, Nick, Russell, and yeah, it was like he's like who is this guy, right?
Yeah.
but no, but Nick made it. He made the transition very well. It made me feel welcome on the team, and like I said, I got along with pretty much everybody, whether you're an offensive lineman or somebody that's not even in my position group, or a senior, a freshman, whatever the case may be. I saw myself as one of the as a critical component, because I was the glue, right? So everybody kind of learned to gravitate towards me, and I really enjoyed and appreciated that. That was the best part of my Wisconsin experience. Really, was just like I know all the guys, and I'm friends with all, and I talk to all of them to this day.
So if you want to, it kind of leads into it, but
Mhm.
you never got into the thick of it on the Believe podcast, but you talked about not seeing the field very much due to maybe some more political type stuff.
Yeah,
So the only reason I ask, I just had Chase on here, and he talked about his struggles, and he was very, very blunt and honest about them.
yeah,
So if you want, could you talk about that a little bit more?
yeah. I mean, Chase is a great guy, and he's definitely
He's
going to tell you how
genuine,
he
dude. He
feels.
is genuine.
He's going to tell you how he feels. That's the one thing I know about Chase Hammond. Yeah, I mean, I think there was a rift between me and the coach at the time, and I think that it didn't, which is kind of crazy, because it didn't have anything to do with skill or effort or anything like that. It just got to a point where he just didn't like me, and I think we've all been on teams before when the coach doesn't really like you, and you got to kind of deal with that. I could have quit several times, um, but I just developed a brotherhood with the guys that I was playing with, and you know, it, I didn't think that was the right choice, and yeah, without getting into too much detail, yeah, me and the coach didn't get along, and it's crazy though. We got along enough where he didn't want to like kick me off the team, but didn't like me enough where he didn't want to
just
play me,
just kept you in the middle ground.
would blatantly tell the coach to not put me in when I needed to be in. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and rag the guy. But no, and if I saw him walking down the street, I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to say hi to him. But at the same time, like as a man, I can respect him, and it is what it is. I'm beyond that now. So, yeah.
So you stuck the 4 years out regardless.
Mhm.
I have to assume those 4 years came with frustrations and maybe maybe even some thoughts of like, why am I doing this? Like, this is frivolous. How did you
Yeah.
find the mental fortitude to push past those thoughts and see your football journey all the way through those 4 years?
Um, I think it's the brotherhood that I developed with everybody, and I'll consistently go back to that. Right. I mean, if it's crazy to me, and I knew this would happen. Like when you're after football, let's just say 4, 5, 6, 7 years after football, and I knew this while I was there. It's like nobody cares how much you played. Nobody cares
Yeah.
what you really did or any of that kind of stuff. Like unless you're somebody like a Hall of Famer or something like that, nobody's really gonna remember specifically what you did. Right? They'll know that you were part of a team, and that's pretty much the extent of that. Right? I stay in shape, right? People know that okay, like you definitely played something or did something. Um, and quite frankly, that's all the notoriety or anything like that I need. Right? That got me it's being on the team and all that's got me more opportunities than I could have ever imagined. Right. And for that I'm forever, grateful. So I think that yeah, it was hard at times because I'm sitting there watching, especially I think my hardest year was my junior year, because at that point there's no excuse as to why I'm not out there playing.
Yeah.
Like there's literally no like I'm literally bigger, faster, and when I'm bigger, faster, and stronger than the people that are out on the field, that should raise some eyebrows.
Yeah.
Right. So and everybody knew it. All my teammates knew it. Right. So it wasn't like, it wasn't anything that was like a surprise or a shock. It's like they all knew, like, okay, yeah, he should be out there, but our coach is just being an idiot. So yeah, we're just gonna not. Yeah, we'll just I don't know, just let him do his thing. So yeah, it's whatever, man. I don't really care. Like I talked like it's funny. Actually, I was talking to Monty the other day. Who just got Monty was actually he was visiting me. So that's another thing. I'm tight with all these guys that
Yeah.
did well. Well, I don't care if you never saw the field or you're somebody like Monty Ball or you're in the league, whatever. I probably have a good relationship with you, but they know Monty is like, there's no reason why you shouldn't have been playing. There's literally no reason. There is some respectfully to some of the guys. There are some like freshman wide receivers that were running down on kickoff and doing punt return that I could literally rag them around like a rag doll in practice. And it's like, it's like really, but it is what it is, man. I don't even like I said, I don't sweat it anymore. I'm good. I'm chilling. I've made my peace with that. So
After that answer, I think I know the answer to the next one, but the transfer portal wasn't really even close to what it is now. But back then, did you ever have thoughts of transferring to see if you could make an impact on another team?
it's funny you say that because I thought about it for a little bit, but then I was like, I love Wisconsin too much where that's not it. This football wasn't even the reason I came here,
Yeah,
right? So
right.
there's no reason for me to go go transfer just to try to play football somewhere else and all that kind of stuff. I had a close friend of mine that also went to Homestead. He played at Indiana,
Okay.
and at the time, Indiana was not. We switched roles. Indiana is great now, and
Yeah,
yeah, but now at the
I
time,
miss those
Indiana
days.
was yeah, same. Indiana at the time was not they were not good, right? And I had interest to go play football there, but I was like, I don't want to be on a crap team. Like,
Yeah,
disrespectfully to my friend, like, he went there and played and started and got all his, but it's like, I don't know if I want to be a part of that. Like, that just doesn't sound fun. So,
yeah.
so yeah, if there's a transfer portal, I still don't think I would have gone. So,
All right, bringing it back to lighter things now. I've been playing a game of start, sit, red shirt with guys who I have on here, and basically teammates that they played alongside with over their time at Wisconsin. So
mhm.
if you want to play, I'm gonna toss some names at you, and you have to start one, sit one, and red shirt one.
Let's play.
All right, you got Jay Vly, Aaron Henry, and Marcus Cromartie.
And this is at any position or like,
Yeah,
because
it was kind of broad, so like defensive backs.
I mean, I think dang, I'd have to start Crow. Um, I'd have to, that's tough. I'd probably You said start, bench, or red shirt. I'd red shirt Aaron Henry, and then I'd have to bench Jay. So this is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna give much context behind that, but just know that it's still love between y'all. Between us, it's still love. But Crow lives out here in LA, so I'm probably gonna run into him. So I'm gonna have to answer for that. That's all I can do.
Well, hey, you're doing better than DT did. He threatened to hang up on me when I asked him his.
That's
So
crazy. No, I'm gonna give you the answer.
nah, he was joking. He was joking.
No. Okay.
So, past college, what was it like being for your first time being in the stands for jump around versus being on the field, or having been
That
on the
was
field for
that
4 years?
that was different. I'm not gonna lie. Which is crazy because usually when we were blowing teams out and stuff like that, and like in the opportunities that they would put people in on kickoff, and when I was out there doing that stuff, all the special teams, that was fun being on the field. But then like being in the stands there and jump around, like that's a different experience. I love that. That was hype because I mean, but also too like jump around is weird because all the teams that come to the stadium and to play us as visitors, like they know that third quarter to fourth quarter transition is going to happen, and regardless if we're getting blown out or not, whoever's winning, it seems like it's like everybody's for me. I can't dance if I'm losing, and that's what's weird about now. Like they're getting like I'm like, what are y'all celebrating at this point? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, I would say definitely it was a different experience. Different experience being on the field versus in the stadium. But yeah, I've enjoyed both equally, but I think the being in the student section would be pretty fun.
I try to get back to at least one game a year. This year, I'll go into 2 games this year, but we were back for the Iowa
But,
game. It was
mm,
the saddest I've ever been jumping around.
yeah, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, I'm an optimistic guy, but that is it's like, man, we gotta do some stuff over
Yeah.
there. They got yeah. So
So after a couple years after you graduate, you make the move from the Midwest to Cali uh, to work for Sony. Actually, I believe it was you moved out there for.
yeah.
So I read somewhere you're a big traveler. Had you traveled outside of football games a lot at this point? Like prior to moving out there, had you like moved around a lot or gone to a
Um,
lot of places? I
I've
guess.
I've gone to quite a few places. Yeah. So when I moved up to Minnesota, I had a buddy that worked at United, and he gave me his buddy pass for like I want to say like 2 years straight. Shout out to Justin. And he's still at United to this day, and I was able to go all over. Like I'm talking about, like I was never like so okay. Well, let's go to Dubai this weekend. Let's go to Sydney this weekend. Let's go to Toronto this weekend. Right. So yeah, I was able to travel quite a bit, and then when those buddy passes rolled out, or when that expired, I was sad that I had to pay for my flights, but I was already hooked at that point. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I continue to travel more and more, and then, living by it now, living, in LA, like near LAX. It's been just, LAX is a huge international airport, so I'm able to connect anywhere in whether it's Asia or South America or any of those continents. I'm there. So, yeah, I've loved traveling though. It's definitely taught me a lot. So,
What's your favorite place you've been to?
they've all had different feels to them. Some have been more like party feels, some have been more like reflective, calm, quiet, and then some have been just some golf trips. I think the most unique place that I went was there's an island country outside of Madagascar. It's called Mauritius, and it is it's almost kind of like a Bora Bora type
Sure.
situation, like but it's a small. It's still got like roads and stuff like that, but it's right outside of Madagascar. It's a long flight, but it's like golf. It's like a golf heaven. They have like 6 golf courses on this island, and they're all like volcanic views,
Wow.
and it's clear water, and it's like it's a small island, but it's got enough space for you to move around. And I think that was one of the better trips that I've had. And I was able to. I'm a golf addict now, right? So it's like that was a special one for me. I played every day, and I played like in the morning ish from like 10 to like 3 or 4, and then after that I just hang out at the beach and just be lazy. So yeah, it was that.
So once you moved out to Cali, um did you have any friends out there, or was it more like strictly professional development type of move?
Yeah. So it was both, but I had friends that lived out here. So actually the first place that I lived was with David Gilreath.
Okay.
Um yeah, he was living out here. And I was like, "Hey David, like I'm moving from Minnesota." And David's from Minnesota, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Hey, I'm moving to Cali. Like, do you know anybody that has a place to stay?" He's like, "Actually, I do." So I roomed up with him. Um and yeah, like I said, David's I want to say he was in the senior, like one of the senior classes when I was older. So he's another guy. Like I got really close to a lot of the seniors, Isaac Anderson, David Gill, all those, the receiving groups, the DB groups, like very tight with them. And they all looked out. But yeah, David was able to let me stay with him for quite some time. And yeah, I got on my feet and yeah, tried to do the best I could professionally. I worked at Sony Pictures at the time, and um, that was a good experience. But transitioned into the world of pharma sales after that. So
Yeah. So was there like a big transition you felt from moving from the Midwest, or having lived majority of your life in Wisconsin, moving out west, or had you traveled so much at that point it was you know
mm, I think the biggest difference was just that it was expensive. I was like, man, I
cost
didn't
of
know.
living? Yeah.
I'm like, why is it so expensive for this? Like, I get this. Yeah, it's pricey out here for sure. The weather is beautiful. I see why people are here. The weather is amazing, right? You're at any given time. I mean, if you live in LA proper, like given traffic, you're probably about maybe 15, 30 minutes from the beach. LA is great. You can drive, a few hours north and go snowboarding. You can drive a few hours south, or like 30 minutes south and go to the beach and go surfing. Right? That's a huge advantage that California has in itself. But yeah, other than that, taxes were high and it's very expensive out here. I'm like, dude, how are people affording to live out here? It's ridiculous. Like,
Well, not only how are people affording to live out there, but I mean, it's probably different in LA. But when we went to San Diego for like 10 days,
hmm
there it seemed like people just stopped working at like 2 o'clock.
yeah,
Like we were like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
were like, the beach has got like there's a beach in San Diego Beach. I can't remember what the actual name of it
All
was,
right,
but
Pacific Beach
they
or
called it Party Beach, and it was
all right,
like
Pacific Beach,
1 or
PB.
2 o'clock. It was just like packed. It was like, what are
Yeah,
these people doing for work? I need to come down here and work.
ain't no work. It's fun employment. No, people find ways to survive out here. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, it's I'm here for a good time, not necessarily a long time. I would probably at a certain point move somewhere back, maybe like Chicago or Minnesota or Minneapolis, and I don't know, maybe Wisconsin. We'll see. Yeah, like being out here, it's great and all, but I grew up in Wisconsin. I grew up with snow and seasons changing and fall and like actual weather variation,
Yeah,
and I kind of miss that, and I don't necessarily overly appreciate it here. It's like, okay, well, it's cool, but I can always fly here and visit, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
So somewhere out there, at some point, you met a producer for The Bachelor, or I guess how did that all Bachelorette? How did that all come about?
Oh, wow. Knew that was going to come. Yeah,
I only got like a couple questions about it.
no, it's good.
I had to cover it. My wife is like diehard fan of that show.
Okay, that's fair. Well, shout out to your wife.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
Shout out, Kristen.
All right, shout out Kristen. Yeah, I was at a brewery, Angel City Brewery. It's located in downtown LA, and I was sitting there another one of my teammates moved out here as well. His name's Connor O'Neill. Um, and he was out here. I think it was his birthday party that he was having at the brewery. And I was sitting there trying to find him. It's a big brewery. I'm like, where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm upstairs. I'm gonna come get you. So sitting there waiting, and these two like producer casting agents, whatever you want to call them, they came up to me and they're like, they just went straight in like, "Hey, are you single?" And I was like, "Hey, yo, like,
buy me a drink first."
my name is Darius. Yeah. No, they came up to me and introduced themselves. They're casting agents for The Bachelor. Or they say, "Hey, do you ever watch the ABC's The Bachelor, Bachelorette?" I'm like, "No, not at all." But they're like, "Well, we love to tell you more about it." And this, and I'm like, "I know what it is. I don't watch it."
Yeah.
And so they go in the spiel and they're saying like, "Hey, we're looking for guys to be on the show, and we think that you would fit, and we love that you're from the Midwest. You're really like wholesome." And I'm like, "All right, whatever that means." So yeah, they take me, they give me their card and like, "Hey, well, email me, and we want you to fill out this application." And I'm like, I told them, I was like, "I'm not really here for TV. Like had a good job. I'm doing just fine. Like I don't really need any of
Yeah.
that." But yeah, long story short, I was switching from Sony. I was working in finance at Sony, and I got bored of that, which I should have known that in college. I didn't like it there, so I don't think I was gonna like it here. Um, so I was sitting there applying, and I got bored, and I was like, "Man, they emailed me. Let me fill out this application real quick." So I fill it out and send it over to them. They're like, "Oh my God, like this is amazing. Like you should come in and meet the producers and this, that, and the other." So I'm like, "All right, like, I'll come in." So I go meet the producers. They're like, "Yeah, we want you to be on the show." At the time, I was also, like I said, I was emailing and applying for all type of stuff. I applied for a job at a pharma company, and I was going to, transition into that world. And I got a job offer with them. And the day I got the job offer, they also, the producer from The Bachelor, they're like, "Hey, like we want you to come, be on this next show. Like, are you free?" And I was like, "Not quite." So I go to my new prospective manager, and I was like, "Hey, like, do you mind if I push the start date back just a little bit?" And I was like, "I'm trying to go on this show," and she's like, "Oh, like I don't know if that's a good idea." Like, call my mom, and I'm like, "Hey, like I got a chance to be on this reality show," and she's like, "Boy, if you don't take this job that you've been looking for," right? So I ended up declining. I was like, "Nah, I can't." Thank you for the honor and privilege of thinking I'm good enough to be on the show, but I got to decline. So they're like, "Okay, well, we'll call you back maybe sometime in the future." This is in LA, so I'm like, "They're not calling me
Yeah,
back."
right.
They're not calling me back. A year goes by. I do well. I do well with my job, my farmer job. I win like President's Club and all that kind of stuff. And then they announced that they're going to have these layoffs, and they're laying people off based on tenure. I was the newest guy. They're like, "Hey, congratulations on being the top sales rep, but also we got to lay you off." I'm like, "What kind of?" I'm like, "All right,
Same
bet. Okay,
sentence.
cool."
Yep.
Right. The next day, I get a call from ABC, and they're like, "Hey, we're just spinning, just circling back, just wondering, like, are you free now?" And I was like, "Well, as a matter of fact, I am. I am unemployed, so yes." So they're like, "Yeah, come on in and like revisit the producers and this, that, and the other." So that's how I ended up being on the show. I was unemployed, and I needed something to do. So yeah.
I when I talked to Luke Swan, who is actually on a reality show himself called Fourth and Long, he said that a lot of stuff that they were basically producers trying to set it up, primarily drama, outside of like, the premise of the show was they basically played against each other and tried to win an NFL contract. But was that similar to the experience, or I guess how genuine is the footage that they show that you were filming?
Well, kind of like I alluded to before, I'm good at making it to the event, not staying long, right? So when it comes to Rose Bowls, we gonna make it there. We ain't gonna do nothing, right? Make it to the T. We gonna get there. We ain't gonna play that much, right? So it's a reoccurring theme of my life, and The Bachelor is not anything short of that. I was on like 2 episodes and I got cut, right? So, but that being said, I think that it's it's not staged, but it's set up in a way where like think about it, man. You have 30 guys going after one girl and they're in one house. Like
Yeah.
that's not a realistic situation. Like
Right.
she's gonna get hounded, right? So it's like they have to they control the environment. They're not controlling what you're
Yeah.
saying, but they control the external environment.
Sure.
They try to have everybody, a little liquored up a little bit. They overserve, and then also they wait until like the wee hours in the morning where people you're tired, right? So
Yeah.
if you're tired and drunk, that's when you
You're
typically
saying
start
out of
to
pocket
act up.
stuff.
You stay out of pocket stuff, right? And everything you just say is off the cuff and like yeah. So, but they'll set you up with like your own like 5 minutes or your own 10 minutes with her or whatever the case is. But yeah, that's how it goes. They don't control anything you say, but they do try to like in like private interviews. They'll try to poke and prod at things that are happening in the house that they'll intentionally like kind of it's I'd say like 50-50. It's not fully staged, but it's also not like it's there's some more it's organic for the most
Yeah.
part. Like they can't control what I'm saying. So
Right.
um
So was there, I guess, between you and the rest of the guys having come from playing football and kind of like that locker room mentality, camaraderie, was there a feeling among the men contestants, or was it more of a rivalry dynamic?
I think and mind you, I wasn't long enough to on there long enough to do all that, and that's a whole different story for a whole different podcast. But yeah, I think that it's not I mean in the beginning it's not really a rivalry. It's like it's 30 guys, right? I mean it's like it's 30 guys, they just happen to all be going I guess for the same girl. But then also too, you got to realize like and that's part of the part that's people think they don't know if it's real or not. Mind you, the show is only 9 weeks, and then you just met this girl, right? So it's like
Right.
you don't even like if it's not even your type, you just got to act like it is,
Yeah. Well,
right?
I mean, no,
Right.
no offense to you, but that's why I absolutely hate the show. It's so unrealistic. It's like 9 weeks. Yeah, you want to marry me? Oh yeah, that's going to be a real good
And then there's
marriage.
that, right? Yeah, and then there's that aspect of it, right? So it's like, yeah, like it's a great concept of a show, but no, I think there is a brotherhood that forms there with the guys. To this day, I'm still friends with, I'd say like maybe 4 or 5 of them. We stay in contact, so yeah, it's cool. Like, and even like if you get cut early, if you're there all the way through, like I can still hit these guys up and like we can go golf or go hang out or like do whatever. So it's definitely not really a rivalry unless like towards the end, I guess, if you really, really
Yeah.
were feeling her, I guess, then sure. But yeah, these guys are looking for opportunities to make themselves famous on reality TV. So it is what it is.
Even being on there for the couple episodes you were, did your social medias like just explode when you,
Yeah.
because I don't think you can have your phone on there in there, can you?
You cannot have your phone. It's
So
like it is set up for like I said, they serve you liquor and they take your phone away. So they set you up in an environment where you're mentally kind of like very uncomfortable.
yeah.
Right. Um, yeah, you can't. Yeah, like this, and there's no exceptions. Like you can't just. Yeah, you can't go check your phone real quick or do like they weren't playing that at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so yeah, it's a yeah, it's a weird show, man. I don't know. Um,
Did
but yeah,
you like receive any like negativity after you got off of that, to the point where you're like, maybe I shouldn't have done this?
yeah, I think back to the social, and you asked about the social media thing. Like, yeah, there was definitely a surge of followers and yeah, so like yeah, I was on the news and stuff. Like, it was crazy
Yeah.
for a good like. I remember after my first appearance on TV, like I got my phone back. I had so many texts and calls and emails, and I couldn't even respond to all this stuff. It was ridiculous. Like, but yeah, I mean, you get a surge in social media stuff, and I think my social media probably like it probably quadrupled, or it was a lot. It was, and then you
Yeah.
get all these DMs about and people commenting on your photos and like, oh, he's probably not going to be a good fit for her, or like, oh my god, he's so this, he's so that. Like you're going to
Yeah.
get all of that stuff, but it is what it is. I think the only thing I did regret when I came off the show, like there was a gap in my work history, right, from a resume perspective. And then all it takes is one Google search. Like you just type my name in, and you'll see, oh, there's that. Okay, well, is he gonna just leave our job and just go on the next reality show?
Sure.
And I assured every employer that I have, like, no, that was a one time thing. That's not happening again. Despite them constantly reaching out for you to be on The Bachelor in Paradise and
Right. Right.
Temptation Island and all these Love is Blind. I got invited to all those shows, all of that stuff, and I'm just like, God, I can't.
Your
I'm
name's
not.
just being cycled through the system now.
Man, I'm like, you throw me on some Jeopardy or something like that. Or throw me on
Right.
Prices Right, or
Wheel of
throw me on
Fortune, get me on.
something where I can win some money, right? But not. I'm not going on no more love shows. None of that. Nah,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, that was the only real like kind of drawback. But outside of that, like it is what it is. I don't know.
So we talked about your golf history a little bit before. You're now the community manager for Vibes Golf Club. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about what Vibes Golf Club is?
Yeah, so I'd love to. Vibes Golf Club, right? It's a social club. We have members all across the country, and we're really kind of focused on like identifying different avenues to make golf more attractive to people like us, right? And when I say like us, I mean everyone, but specifically people that have not been exposed to golf before, right? Or are just unfamiliar with how to play or where to play it, how to fit in, right? I think that golf has this elitist type of feel where at least it was when I grew up, right? So I was at Homestead. There's a country club across the street. It's called Ozaki Country Club, and that is a place where it is collared shirt, buttoned up. There's no dinking around on the course. Like you got to
Yeah.
be like right, and it's predominantly white men golfing the game. That's just a fact. That's just what it is,
Yeah.
right? And I think that it's a shame that that's how the sport has been kind of played in the sense that like I think that it wasn't really until like Tiger Woods that kind of made everybody was wanting to play golf, right? And I think that for me, I can speak personally, like I didn't find golf attractive because not to say I don't, the game is cool and all, but it's like I didn't feel like I fit in,
Yeah.
right? I'm not trying to wear collared shirts and the language is just kind of lame and like they just I don't it wasn't a good feel. Like it was like these respectfully, hopefully one day you can be an old rich white man, but it was a lot of old rich white men. Right. And it's like they not talk about nothing. They're just it's just not it wasn't the environment for it's for a 16-year-old black kid.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. We didn't have much to relate to. Um, but I think the game is expanding more. And back to Vibes Golf Club, I think that's kind of that's kind of our motto and what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the game to make it more accessible, make it more fun, generate the demand, right? Um, to make the game, something that everybody can feel like they can play. And that's kind of been, where I fit in. I'm the community director, and I look at socials and I try to find different avenues and different partnerships that um, would help make the game more attractive to people, right? So, I definitely it's a game like I said, it's been kind of it's siloed and it's been very like closed, but it's a game that needs to open up and needs to change, and there needs to be a lot of shifting. If put it this way, if these golf companies want to continue to make money, they need to open up the game and make it more attractive to whether it's people of color or younger people, older people that are not exposed to the game. That's what needs to happen. So that's kind of my job.
Yeah. So you guys, I saw you guys have had some events. I guess what else like, are you guys accepting members into the club, or I guess how else are you guys trying to push this message out?
Right. So we do have a membership. It's a subscription based membership. People are able to pay a fee and they're able to be a part of the golf club, the golf community. We have a membership within Discord where we offer a lot of different discounts to different merchandise, eventually different golf courses, and it's just a social platform, a community in which people can share like their struggles with golf or like how well they played or like different videos of them shanking. I think shanking, whatever, highlights, lowlights, whatever the case is. Golf is a game that will humble you really quick, right? So it's everybody enjoying growing in the game together, and on top of that, we obviously then we send out these merch kits. We send 2 out a year, and they'll include like a hoodie, hats, golf balls, different golf merchandise and apparel, um, whatever it might be, all from different partner companies that are able to provide us a good discount, and we're able to push that out to our members. But yeah, it's open for people to join. This is our 5th year running, our 4th year running this. About to be our 5th year, and it's been going really well. We see a lot of people that have never even thought about golfing or never picked up a golf club before. They're now trying it, and you can probably see that I run it with my old teammates, right? So 9 out of the 10 of us are former Wisconsin players, and it's fun watching them all get better at golf. And
I've been
it's
watching
just
Melvin's golfing journey.
yeah, his journey has been it's been a journey. It's been a journey, but he's starting to pick it up and get good. So listen, I definitely need to be on my A game when I'm playing him. So I can't get too
Well, dude,
relaxed.
he's
So
just got raw power. As soon as he gets that swing down,
he's got some big hits. Hey, I played with him. I played golf. I played golf with him a couple of times, and he's outdriven me. Not a lot, but a couple of times. I was like, "Oh man, if you figure this thing out, like you could be good." So yeah, it's good. It's good playing the game with old teammates and reconnecting, and just like I said, we're exposing the game to people that traditionally haven't played. Right, and that's just the game of golf. It's really growing, expanding. It's amazing to see. So I'm excited.
this might be a dumb question, but
Never a dumb question.
have you guys? Are there any talks, or have you guys thought about expanding into like cost effective golf gear, like clubs and stuff like that?
Right. So to answer that question, while it's a great thing and it's a ideally that's what you'd want. There's organizations that provide that already. So like things
Okay,
like First Tee, they have chapters all across the country.
sure.
They're able to secure donations of clubs and all those types of things and be able to hand those out to kids and in less fortunate areas, and that's cool and all. And I always tell this to people that are trying to figure out what we're doing. It's like we're trying to generate the demand aspect of it. So if you go to an inner city school, let's say you go to I don't know, and say you go to Milwaukee, I don't know, Washington High School in Milwaukee. I don't know if you're familiar with Milwaukee. If you take 100 basketballs and 100 golf clubs and you just drop them in the gym and call on the loudspeaker and say, "Hey, there's free sports equipment in the gym."
Yeah,
Them basketballs are gonna be gone so fast,
yeah,
right? Yeah, and then those golf clubs, those are gonna either sit there or probably somebody's gonna sell them or something, right?
yeah,
We're not in the business, or our goal is not to give out clubs. We'll let somebody else do that. Our goal is to make golfing cool, right? Make it attractive, right? We want people to play it. If you see Melvin Gordon playing golf and you've traditionally all you played is football, you're like, oh wow, if he can pick that up, that means I can pick that up, right? If you see Tanner McAvoy, who's crazy athlete, or Darius
yeah.
Hiller, or any of these
Yep.
guys, right? They're like, oh, they're pretty good athletes, and now they're golfing. Maybe that's something I could pick up. Maybe I want to try that, right? And it's our job to make golf seem fun, because it is fun, right? When you're playing it with your friends, your buddies, and it's a fun game. It's frustrating at times, but it's fun to learn and watch yourself improve. But it's our job to really show people that anybody can play and that it's a fun sport. So, yeah, if that answers your question, we're more on the demand side.
Yeah, so more or less overall trying to rebrand a old stereotype of what golfers should be.
That is correct. That's spot on. And we do different partnerships like with, with like Lexus or any of these other, the PGA right now. They kind of use us as their arm to show that.
Okay, cool.
Anybody can. We've done tons of collaborations with them, but yeah, we use that as that's our job, is to make the game fun and have a good time and get some film, get some good content on camera, and then put it out there in the world to see, like, oh wow, they're having fun playing golf. Maybe I should go pick up golf, and that's what we want. So
Um, if people want to join the membership, we'll drop the link below if you want to get that to me afterwards, Darius.
awesome, yeah,
Um, so we talked about Vibes Golf Club, but you also your full. I don't know. Is your full time job? Like, are these? Um,
I wear a lot of different hats.
I was gonna say,
um,
but so you're in pharmaceuticals. Are you pharma sales or?
Correct. Yeah. So I work in pharmaceutical sales. I work in pediatric oncology. With I'm not gonna say the company, but the medication, yeah, medication that helps suppress tumors within a certain genetic condition. So, long and short of it is that, yeah, I'm a pharma rep, account manager out here in LA. So I work with children's hospitals. So, um,
How much of your competitive edge from sports carries over into that world?
a good amount. I think the competitive edge. I've always been fairly competitive, and it's not more so. I hate losing more than I love winning.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, and you could probably ask any of the guys. With me, it's like I cannot stand losing. It's even if side note with golf, I'm not scared of losing to Melvin just from a score. I'm scared of losing to him and him being able to just talk trash for the rest of his life, because I know him and I know that's what he'll do. Right? And yeah, like I will not give him the right to do that. Never. But for me, it's like, yeah, we have sales performance metrics and things like that, and to see my name at the bottom of any list, like, it irks me, right? So I want to definitely remain competitive in everything that I do, and that's the competitive edge that I have. And I've lost, like I said, I've lost quite a few times with stuff, and it just that bothers me. So I always try to remain at the top, and I'm in an industry that's very competitive, um, and I consistently win, more so because I don't want to lose. So.
You just made me think of a question back to Vibes Golf Club, and then we'll uh, talk back about pharmaceutical. But being all around those guys, because it's a lot of former player. Is it all former players in this? Because I know it's like Darius
Yeah.
Hillary. It's like you said,
Rob,
Tanner McAvoy. It's I think I
Austin,
saw
yeah,
Daria Gumbawale in there.
Darius in there. Yes, yeah, we have, yes,
Melvin.
Austin
Like it,
Taylor, Melvin, all these guys. Yeah, we
it's
have.
is it reminiscent of just like when you're there working? Is it basically just like, oh, I'm just back, I'm kind of back in college now, like
Yeah, it's
like
yeah.
the camaraderie of that?
Oh, the camaraderie is what makes it all worth it, right? It's a brotherhood again, right? And I think, like, there's the element of running a business with friends that comes into play sometimes, and things can get a little little
Yeah,
little heated. But at the end of the day, we're friends. We're friends first. And I think that that's definitely been an advantage that we've had. All of us, except for Noe, who's our CEO. He was our tutor in the business school, so that's how
okay.
he got to know all of us. But yeah, it's great running a business with friends, and I think it's going really well so far. So I have no complaints. I think everybody's learning how to address things professionally, and we all have meetings, and we all have our own lives as well. But everybody, Dari's mid-season. He shows up
Right,
after
right.
practice after practice on in the meetings. Like, it's a matter of, it's another element of just locking in. It's business, and we got to remain professional. And obviously, we have our jokes and laughs and all that kind of stuff. But it's good seeing these men develop into good businessmen and professionals as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So sorry, that kind of just popped up, but
Good.
so in the athletic world, success often comes from consistent effort and preparation, both of which you showed over your 4 years at Wisconsin. How do you bring that same discipline into hitting either sales goals or maybe, managing clients in the pharma world?
I think it's a matter discipline. It's discipline. That's and I mentioned that earlier in the show. It's being able to do things that might be uncomfortable at the time. Um, and that's just how it is. I mean, they've just got to get done. I think that was kind of beaten to our heads when we were in college. It's like, okay, well, hey, we have workouts at 6 a.m. right, and you better wake up at 5:30 to get there, especially
Yeah.
if it's snowing, if there's ice outside,
Yeah.
right? You know how long it's gonna take you to get to the stadium. You know it's gonna take you 3 minutes to get dressed or whatever the case is. So you need to plan accordingly and get there on time. Um, or if workout happens to start at 5:30, whatever it might be, right? It's the success that I've garnered in my life can be attributed to discipline and accountability. I think knowing, like, being able to own up to my mistakes, knowing when I did something wrong, knowing that I can improve, that's the accountability of it. But being able to improve it and work towards and practice doing the right thing over and over, even when it's uncomfortable, that is discipline, right? And, thanks to Wisconsin football, thanks to my parents, thanks to my mentors, I've just gotten very comfortable with doing things that may not be comfortable at the time, right? So, yeah, that's where success comes from, is doing the same things whether you feel like it or not. I still, to this day, I work out at 7 in the morning, right before work, and it's not because I like working out. I hate working out. I believe it or not, I hate working out, which is crazy. Put that on fact. I do not like working out, but
I'll put it on a
I do.
quote card. Hates
I
working out.
do. I do not like working out. But if people think like, no, that's not true, you work out all the time. It's like, no, it's not about that. I know that for me to live a long life and for me to be healthy and for me to, keep my competitive edge, I know that I have to go in there and perform. And when it's done, it's done. It's the quickest hour and a half that I got to get out the way. It's a chore, it's whatever it is, but it's got to get checked off, and that's just how it is. So, yeah.
In college, a lot of the preparation to win is knowing your opponent, right? And it's kind of similar in sales, right? Knowing who you're selling to. So in college, it's film study. What's your version
Mhm.
of film study now? Is it like, analyzing client data or like market
Correct.
trends, competitor strategy?
Yeah, you nailed those three things on the head, right? Market trends, you have to know, within the pharma world or even any medical sales world, you have to know where you're going. You have to know your clientele, you have to know who you're talking to and why you're talking to them. And within sales, you don't want to be overly pushy and aggressive, but sometimes that's what a doctor might need. Sometimes that's what a physician. You have to be able to play the field and know that you can't approach every single physician the same way,
Yeah.
right? And then also, in a place like LA, culturally, there's different traditions and different ways you speak to different doctors, right? So, and that's the cool thing about LA. You have physicians that are Korean, Hispanic, African American, young, white, old, but doesn't like there's a huge diversity of those players and those physicians. So you have to be able to know your opponent and know your arena when you're walking into it, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, checking all the boxes and just knowing how to sell. So that's how that goes.
Maybe a goofier question, but have you ever used a sports metaphor when pitching to a client?
When pitching to a client,
Yeah.
hold on one second. The dog is tripping. Go ahead. All right.
So last episode we featured Chase Hammond's two cats. Now we got your dog.
Got my dog. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can do the cats, but I'm surprised his dogs didn't come on. He's got a whole zoo over there. For real, he got lizards and snakes and all types of. Yeah. But sorry, what were you saying? You're saying
Have you ever used a sports metaphor when trying to sell to a client?
Uh, Not really. I know my one of my old managers would always say like, guys, sales is tough, so you got to keep your knees bent. And it's like, okay, like, I get that you're saying stay ready, but knees, I get it, but sure, yeah. So I haven't used that. I'm not like that. I mean, they'll see like, oh, they'll ask me, oh, did you play sports and this that, and the other, and I'll tell them, and they'll be like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, then they'll go on and tell me about their experience in college and who their favorite players are and this that and the other, and like you you talk about this whatever that gets you in the door,
Yeah,
and then
some
from there
commonality. Yeah, yeah.
some commonality, and then
Yep.
from there, yeah, then you actually get down to business, what you're there for, right? So, but no, I'm not out here like, like the more shots you shoot, like the
You
more
miss
you'll make.
100%
Nah,
of the shots you don't
like,
take.
yeah, I'm not telling it. No, I'm not doing that. No.
15 is you're going to use the bent knee metaphor. Just wait.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So.
No, this has been awesome. I don't want to keep you too long here, so I'll get into my final two questions here. So, if
Okay.
you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice your freshman year, what would you tell yourself?
Uh, my freshman year, I would, I would probably tell myself to probably go into the coach's office and just smooth things over. There's some external drama that was going on, and at the time I was kind of like, well, fine, if y'all don't want to play me or whatever, like I'll still enjoy myself.
Yeah,
And I think I was more in control of my career than I thought I was. I knew I knew I could fix things. I just didn't have the guts and courage to go do it. I think that might be a little bit of an ego thing for me. Kind of like a fu fu too. Right? I think that, yeah.
I
So
mean, and
if I
it's
can
tough.
tell
It's tough
myself,
for young kids. I mean, at that age,
right,
you have such a big ego, especially I'm sure playing D1 college.
yeah, it's like, and for me it was like, I don't need this. I'm just here.
Right,
I don't need to be here.
right.
Um, but it is what it is. Everything worked out the way it would work out. So I really don't have any real regrets, but I definitely wish I could have smoothed some things over my freshman year. So,
And then lastly, how do you think the Badgers are going to do the rest of the year? Or will we get another win this year?
oh my God, I hope so, man. I hope so. They just, yeah, I don't even, yeah, I'll just say this, man. I know this is, it may or may not be popular with the current players, whatever, but I think that there's an element of, you bring up the transfer portal and the NIL money, and um, and I've been like, I've gone back there. It's very nice, and there's just not enough grit anymore. Um, it just is what it is. Like, I've seen their gyms, I've seen all the benefits they get. Like, and I'm glad that those players are getting that. But I think that the Wisconsin way, the ground and pound, the tough, the us moving weight around in the gym, and like us, man, them workouts borderline, like, yo, board like borderline. I
I
don't know if
think
they're,
you were in there when Brian was when Bot was in there, and I've heard about some of
yes.
those workouts. So,
Oh, bro, it was. I'm talking like, I don't think there was a workout that we had where somebody didn't puke. Like, it's just like they used to like put us through it, and I think that that's part of the reason why we were so good, is that we trained hard, we practiced hard. Like, yeah, I mean, Coach B would tell us we'd be 11. So a period is 5 minutes.
yeah,
We'd be 11 periods into practice, and he'd be like, "Start this whole shit over." And we'd be like, "Damn!" Like,
like
and like the
all
coach would be like,
the
"Yeah, all of it from the warm up, start it all over. We're not doing, yeah." So it's like just things like that. Like, I don't know if they're doing that anymore. Like, I don't know if they, yeah, like everything is just all like nice, and there's no grit anymore. There's no, like, the iron plates rusting out. There's none of that. No
yeah.
coaches screaming at people no more. I don't. I doubt that that's happening, but maybe I could be wrong. But I don't know. That's kind of my take. So I hope the Badgers figure it out. But man, we got some work to do.
Yeah. And to that point, maybe it's how they're trying to drive in more money, but man, there's some of their social media posts are just, it's like they are trying to get way too cute. It's like, just log off for a little bit, put in some work, and let's see what happens.
That's I can agree with you on that one. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's a different era, right?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they're just trying to push out content to.
It's a content era now.
Yeah, right.
It's like, yo, that content ain't gonna unless that's helping you get better. Yeah, that's not worth it.
Right.
So we didn't have that kind of content and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we just played football and hit each other. And like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna rag on the program. I'm always a UW fan forever. But we got some work to do. So
yeah. All right. That'll wrap it up. Another episode of the Dadger. Huge thanks to Darius Feaster for joining us and sharing his story from his days as a Wisconsin Badger to everything he's doing beyond the game. Conversations like these remind us that growth doesn't stop when the lights turn off. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. And as always, on Wisconsin. Thanks, Darius.
no problem. Y'all take care.